Hey everybody, Mike here. So this company reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested in reviewing this plastic welder gun that runs off of a 20 volt Dewalt battery. So of course I said, yeah, I'll go ahead and send it out. I wanted to give it a try. So let's go ahead and get this thing out of the box, check this thing out together, and see if we can figure this thing out. So the first thing it comes with is a set of instructions, and there are some color photos on this. That's going to be extremely handy since I've never used one of these before. And then here you also have here's your heat gun here, and then it comes with this nice little container that's got all of your little staples in it. Now there's 4 different types of staples this comes with. There's 100 in each package. Let me get these staples out of the bag real quick. We'll take a look at this together. We've got 4 different staples here to pick from. This first one here has kind of got like a small wavy design. That's meant for fine cracks is what their website says. Then you've got this more like M-shaped one, which is supposed to be for like an external crack. The plastic comes down and makes a bend. Then you've got this more little squirrely Q here, and that's if you've got a crack that's not straight and kind of waves, so it covers more area. I've got this V-style one here as well. If it's more of a concave bend and you're trying to fix a crack there, you can put this V one in the crack that way. For sake of example today, learn how this thing works. I've got my Dewalt battery here. I push the trigger, I see the light comes on here, so that's handy to have. I don't feel any heat. I've got a 5-gallon bucket here that's got a big crack at the bottom. This is the rock bucket we used out in the pasture when we're picking rocks out there. And we got a crack in that bucket. I'm gonna see if I can salvage this bucket and get a little bit more use out of it instead of throwing it away. Now my bucket here has got a pretty decent sized crack in it, so I'm not sure if this is gonna be a good example or not. This is what I've got to work with. I'm gonna use this one here because it's a little larger surface area. Slide that here inside the tool. So we got that slid in like that. We'll see if that's enough or not. All right, now let's see what this thing does. I instantly saw smoke out of that thing. Hold that in place for a second, let that cool off just a touch. Okay, let's check out our work and see what we got here. That's cooled down already. Yeah, I think that holds pretty good. Let's grab another one here. So the first thing I learned on that is you don't have to stick this in very far, so you just want that kind of just barely in the little holes here. Just barely in there. Do it on this side this time. Okay, heat it up, push the trigger, start sinking in the plastic, let it off. Just like that. I can see how this would be extremely handy working on if you had a cracked fender on a vehicle, pretty much anything plastic. If you had a broken lamp, one of them little kids like Fisher-Price plastic tables, things like that. This would be great for that. Instead of throwing it away, you can get a little more use out of that thing. So this day and age, I'm sure we're all getting kind of sick of prices around everything. If we could find a way to save something and not have to send it to a landfill before it's time, in my opinion anyways, that's always a good day. And that's where this thing really comes in handy. That's where I really saw a benefit out of this thing. If I could take something like this bucket, which may only cost a few dollars at the store, but I can go ahead and get another couple years out of this thing before it's trash. In my opinion, that's a good day. So I'm gonna put a couple more of these in there. This thing heats up so incredibly fast. It only takes seconds to set this little staple in place in the plastic. This takes a little practice to get this figured out, but it's the last one. Hold my trigger. Down it goes. Stop. Now I'll just run through here real quick and snip all these off. This is actually a pretty neat little tool. I've never had the opportunity to use one of these before. If I'd owned a tool like this in the past, I probably wouldn't have thrown so many plastic things away. So there's a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to these staples. Main thing is just don't push too hard. Let it cool down just a touch before you pull the staple out of your gun. There's no need to push that staple all the way in because these tips right here get extremely hot. So as long as they're making contact with both of those tips, like so, that's gonna heat up just fine and melt right into your plastic. I could really see this adding a lot of strength to a plastic bumper or something where it's got a crack in it. If you're gonna fiberglass over it especially and make it back pretty again, you can easily go through, put your staples in your crack, cut the legs off of there flush, grind those down, throw some fiberglass over the top. If you're any good at fiberglass or body working at all, you'd never know those staples were there. Take that for what it's worth. I'm an amateur when it comes to this. I've never done this before till today. The fact that I'm already using the Dewalt tool line and this thing fits right onto my Dewalt batteries, that's a huge plus for me, and I'm looking forward to getting some more use out of this thing in the future.